The council's chamber was silent, except for the hum of the energy core beneath the floor. Every representative sat frozen, staring at the central screen that displayed Earth. On the far side of the galaxy, no one expected humanity to reach this far. Yet here it was, an entire planet standing alone against the might of the council. Admiral Kale's hands shook as he held the datapad. Reports of Earth's sudden military mobilization had come in hours ago. The council had assumed they could contain humans, control them, even ignore them, but Earth had declared war first. And now, the galaxy's oldest powers realized they had underestimated a species that had been dismissed as primitive. Back on Earth, Commander Lyra stood on the bridge of the Aurora, her eyes scanning the void. Her team was ready. Ships from every corner of the planet's orbit moved in tight formation. Each soldier, each pilot, understood the stakes. Humanity wasn't known for powerful fleets or advanced technology compared to the Galactic Alliance. They were known for resilience. And that resilience had just ignited a war no one thought humans could start. "Status report," Lyra demanded, her voice calm but firm. Lieutenant Wren replied quickly, "All fleets are in position. The Council's monitoring satellites are aware of our movements. They'll respond soon." Lyra nodded, gripping the edge of the command chair. She thought about the countless years humans had endured, surviving plagues, wars, and natural disasters. They had learned one truth: when cornered, humans fought with everything they had. She hoped the Council realized that now. In the Council chamber, Elder Varys spoke first. "We underestimated them," he said quietly. "We assumed Earth would negotiate, would bend. We assumed they were small, irrelevant, not worth our attention. How wrong we were." Another council member, a being with translucent skin that reflected the chamber lights, hissed, "They are nothing compared to our fleets. One warning should suffice. We don't need a war." Kale shook his head. "The warning has already been given. We didn't expect them to respond so quickly, so decisively. They've mobilized before we could even reach them." The Council's arrogance had been their greatest mistake. They hadn't studied humans properly. They hadn't seen the spark in their eyes, the unyielding courage that burned brighter than any star. Now, Earth wasn't hiding. Earth wasn't waiting. They were attacking, and the galaxy was beginning to feel the tremors of a species that refused to bow. Back on the Aurora, Lyra checked her crew's readiness. The human fleet was smaller, slower, and less advanced. But every ship carried a human heart. Every pilot carried the weight of generations who refused to surrender. "Bridge to all ships," Lyra said, activating the universal comm, "engage stealth approach. We hit their supply lines first. Show them Earth does not negotiate. Show them we are alive." Wren's eyes widened. "Commander, are you sure? They outnumber us 10-1. Lyra's lips tightened into a determined line. "Numbers do not win wars. Resolve does. Today, the galaxy will see what humans are capable of. Move out." Moments later, the silent hum of engines filled the void as the human fleet slipped into shadows of distant asteroids. They were invisible to the Council sensors, small points of light in the vast blackness of space. But every light carried the fire of humanity. The first strike hit with precision. Council supply stations exploded into bright colors, scattering resources meant for the war front. The humans vanished before anyone could respond. Panic spread across the Council chamber. Elder Varys slammed his fist on the console. "Impossible! How did they? They are supposed to be weak. They are supposed to be slow. And yet, our supply lines are gone. Our fleets will be next." Kale's face paled. "This is no ordinary attack. They are strategic, careful, and they adapt faster than anything we know. They've learned from us, studied us, and now, they fight back smarter than we ever imagined." On Earth, Lyra allowed herself a brief smile. Not of pride, but of relief. Humanity had taken the first step. The Council had believed themselves untouchable. They had underestimated the very species they dismissed. And now, The council's regret was just beginning. Deep in the council archives, a young researcher whispered to herself, "I warned them, but no one listened. Humans, they are not just survivors. They are a storm." And far above the planet that had dared to declare war, stars seemed to burn a little brighter. The galaxy had changed forever. The council's war room was chaos. Screens flashed red, alarms blared, and advisors shouted over one another. Ships were being destroyed faster than they could react. The humans had struck first, vanished, and left a trail of confusion and fear behind. Elder Varys slammed his clawed hand onto the console. "We cannot allow this. Humanity cannot be allowed to continue. Find their fleet. Destroy them. Now." Admiral Kale rubbed his temples. "We've tried. Every sensor we have is being blocked. Every prediction we make, they adapt before we even finish calculations. They're unpredictable." Varys's translucent skin shimmered with fury. "Unpredictable? No, Kale. They are not unpredictable. They are intelligent, cunning, and daring. They fight with heart, something our calculations never account for. And that is why we failed." Meanwhile, deep in the asteroid field near Earth, Commander Lyra's fleet regrouped. Ships glided silently between rocky formations, invisible to council eyes. The humans did not celebrate. Every pilot knew the danger. The council would strike back with everything it had. But humanity had momentum now, and Lyra intended to use it. "Status report," Lyra demanded, her voice calm but sharp. Lieutenant Wren's voice trembled slightly. "All units ready. Sensors show council fleets mobilizing near Orion sectors. They may be moving to intercept." Lyra nodded. "Good. Begin the decoy maneuver. Split into 3 groups. One will strike the council's command station. The other 2 will create diversions. We make them chase ghosts while we hit their heart." The crew exchanged glances. This was risky. If they failed, humanity could lose everything. But risk was part of survival. Humans had survived extinction events, natural disasters, and wars on Earth for centuries. This was no different. "Engage," Lyra ordered. The human fleet split like a river flowing through rocks, each ship moving with precision that belied their smaller numbers. Back at the council, panic had turned into a tense focus. "They are dividing," Kale observed. "It's a trick. They want to lure us into a trap." Varys's eyes narrowed. "Do you think we don't know traps? They are humans, Kale. Fragile, small. Nothing compared to our might. And yet, why does this feel different?" Kale did not answer. He could feel it too, the way humanity fought, their unpredictability, their fearlessness. It was unlike anything in the galaxy. The first human strike hit the council's supply station near Orion. Explosions lit the void, sending debris spinning in every direction. Council forces scrambled to respond, but by the time they redirected fleets, the humans were gone, leaving only the silence of empty space and the glowing ruins of their targets. Varys growled. "Enough. Send the interceptor fleet. Hunt them down." But the humans had already anticipated this. Using hidden jump points in the asteroid fields, small teams of pilots ambushed council ships. With surgical precision, they disabled engines, destroyed weapon systems, and vanished before reinforcements could arrive. Each strike was calculated, precise, and daring. Kale watched in disbelief. "They are learning as they fight. They anticipate us before we even act." "Impossible," hissed another council member. "They are weak. Their fleets are small. How can they do this?" Lyra's fleet moved like shadows, each action a combination of bravery and careful planning. "Wren," she said quietly, "this is only the beginning. We keep them guessing. We keep them scared. Fear is a weapon, and the council doesn't understand it." Wren swallowed hard. "Yes, Commander. I understand." The humans' next strike was bold. A direct assault on a council communication hub, a station that linked all fleets across multiple sectors. Council officers watched in horror as the humans disabled communications, leaving fleets scattered and uncoordinated. Elder Varys turned to Kale. They are teaching us a lesson in humility. They fight not because they have power, but because they refuse to surrender. And we have no idea how to stop them. On Earth, Lyra's eyes scanned the aftermath of the strike. She did not celebrate. Every victory brought them closer to the Council's full attention. Soon, massive fleets would come, more advanced and larger than anything humanity had faced. But for now, humans had shown the galaxy they were not helpless. In the Council chamber, fear began to settle like ice. "We thought we ruled the galaxy," Varys said quietly. "We thought humans were insignificant. Now, we are reminded we cannot ignore a species that fights with its heart." Kale looked out at the holographic display of the galaxy, showing the chaos left by humanity's strikes. "They have changed the rules of war," he said. "The Council is learning the hard way that calculation alone does not win battles. Sometimes courage and will are stronger than fleets and firepower." And far above Earth, the human fleet rested briefly among the stars. They had won today, but tomorrow, the battle would escalate. The galaxy was watching, and every being who doubted humans now had a reason to fear them. Lyra stood at the helm, silent for a moment. "They think this is just a planet they can conquer," she whispered. "They don't know, they will never know, what humans are capable of." The stars outside the bridge seemed to shimmer in agreement. The war had just begun, and Earth was ready to show the galaxy that humanity could not be ignored. The Council could no longer underestimate Earth. Every advisor, every general, knew that humanity was no ordinary species. Admiral Kale paced the chamber, fingers pressed to his temples, as holographic projections of human fleets moved across the room. "They are faster than we predicted," Kale said, voice low. "Every fleet we send, they anticipate. Every move we make, they counter before we even begin." Elder Varys leaned forward, translucent skin shimmering under the chamber lights. "We must strike decisively. No more ambushes. No more small attacks. We bring the full force of our fleets. Every sector. Every ship. Earth must pay for this defiance." Kale hesitated. "If we unleash everything at once, we risk our supply lines. Our command centers, even our home sectors could be exposed. Humans are unpredictable, they may have hidden plans we cannot see." Varys slammed a hand on the table. "Unpredictable, yes. But they are human. Fragile. Mortals. We have faced countless species across the galaxy. None have survived our full strength. None. Why should they?" Meanwhile, above Earth, Commander Lyra's fleet moved with careful caution. Sensors showed multiple Council fleets assembling in distant sectors. The humans had anticipated this. They knew the Council would retaliate, and they had already prepared for the escalation. "Ren," Lyra said, staring at the display of incoming fleets, "we expected this. Begin the defensive sweep. Divide our forces. Keep them chasing shadows. Their arrogance will be their weakness." Ren's fingers flew over the control panels. "Yes, Commander. We can create diversions, but the Council's main fleet, it's enormous. Even with our tactics, we cannot face them head-on." Lyra's eyes hardened. "We won't face them head-on. We will fight smart. We will fight human. And we will make them regret every ship they send." The first Council fleet jumped into the sector. Massive warships, bristling with weapons and shields, moved like living giants through space. But the humans were already gone, slipping between asteroid fields and using hidden jump points that the Council had never mapped. Kale watched from the Council bridge as reports came in. Supply lines were disrupted again. Communication satellites destroyed. Small human strike teams ambushed patrols, then vanished. Each action was precise, calculated, and terrifying in its efficiency. "They are teaching us a new kind of war," Kale muttered, eyes narrowing. Not with size, but with strategy, courage, and daring. They exploit everything we assume about the universe and turn it against us. Varys growled, pacing the chamber. Enough. We hit them directly. Locate their command. Destroy their fleets. Burn their planet if necessary. They must learn obedience. Above Earth, Lyra knew the Council's desperation was growing. And desperation was dangerous. It made the enemy reckless. Ren, prepare the decoy fleet. Lead them into the sector near the Vanir cluster. I want the Council chasing illusions while the main strike team moves behind them. The human fleet split, each ship knowing its role perfectly. Some acted as bait, moving in predictable paths, drawing the Council's attention. Others, invisible and silent, prepared the real attack. The Council fleet pursued eagerly, sensing easy victory. Their arrogance was palpable. Varys watched as his generals smiled, confident. They are retreating, one officer said. Soon, we crush them. Cale shook his head. No. They are moving where we want them. This is a trap. They may be weaker, but they are not fools. Watch carefully. The human strike team emerged from hiding in the Vanir cluster. Weapons charged, cloaking devices disengaged, they hit the Council fleet's rear supply ships. Explosions erupted, tearing through vessels and leaving the massive fleet in disarray. Panic spread through the Council ranks. Varys's face turned pale. Impossible! How can so few destroy so many? Cale answered quietly, almost to himself. They are human. They fight with something we cannot measure. Heart. Determination. Will. Back on the Aurora, Lyra watched the chaos unfold. Maintain the pressure, she said. Do not let them regroup. Every moment they hesitate, we gain advantage. And every human ship that survives, every life, strengthens our resolve. The Council scrambled to respond, but the humans vanished once more. Satellites, sensors, entire fleets lost track of them. They had no pattern, no predictable path. Every step the Council took, humanity had anticipated, or created. Varys turned to Cale, voice trembling with fury. They cannot be stopped. They must be stopped. How do we fight a species that learns faster than we can adapt? Cale's eyes were cold, but calm. Perhaps they cannot. Perhaps this is a new age. Perhaps humans are not just another species to rule. Perhaps they are the storm the galaxy never expected. Above Earth, the stars seemed brighter. Ships moved silently, shadows among the void. Humanity had won another day, not by size, not by strength, but by courage, strategy, and relentless spirit. Lyra knew this victory was small. The Council would regroup. They would return with even greater force. But humans had sent a clear message: they were not prey. They were predators when cornered, clever when underestimated, and unyielding when challenged. And far across the galaxy, in the Council chambers, a single thought echoed through every mind present: humans were no longer to be ignored. They had declared war. And now, the Council feared what that war could become. The Council's fleets hovered at the edge of human space, massive warships bristling with weapons that could destroy entire cities in seconds. Elder Varys's translucent skin shimmered with anger as he stared at the displays. Every strike the humans had made still burned in his mind. Their speed, their daring, their ability to anticipate the Council's every move. We cannot allow this to continue, Varys said, his voice low but firm. Humanity must be broken. We cannot negotiate. We cannot wait. We must crush them. Admiral Cale's hands clenched at his sides. They are not like any species we've fought before. Their fleets are small, but every pilot, every ship, moves with perfect coordination. They fight with purpose. They adapt faster than our algorithms can track. Varys's eyes narrowed. Purpose? Adaptation? They are flesh and blood. They will die like all mortals. This ends now. Gather the fleets from the rim sectors. We will strike at Earth itself. All ships, all weapons, every sector we control. If they survive this, it will be by miracle alone. Far above Earth, Commander Lyra watched the Council's movements on her sensors. She had anticipated escalation, but the scale of this attack was larger than she expected. Millions of tons of warships converged on the solar system, their weapons glowing ominously against the black void. "Ren," Lyra said, her voice steady but tense. "They're coming. Every fleet they have. They want to end this war in one strike. We have no time for hesitation." Ren's fingers hovered over the controls. "We can't match them ship for ship, Commander. Even if we strike first, they'll overwhelm us eventually." Lyra shook her head. "We won't match them with numbers. We'll match them with human ingenuity. Every human pilot knows their job. Every ship has a purpose. Today, the Council learned something it forgot long ago. Humans fight differently. Humans survive differently. And humans never surrender." The first wave of Council ships entered the system. Energy beams lit the darkness as massive weapons fired on orbital defenses. But the humans were already in position. Hidden jump points, asteroid fields, and stealth maneuvers allowed them to strike where the Council least expected. Supply ships exploded. Fighters ambushed larger warships. The Council's coordinated attack faltered before it could begin. Kale watched helplessly. Every move we make, they anticipate. Every strike we plan, it's already countered. How is this possible? Varys growled. "They are human. That is why. They fight with something we cannot calculate. Willpower. Courage. They understand risk in a way no species does. And they exploit it." On the Aurora, Lyra's eyes scanned the system. "Deploy the decoy fleet. Make them chase shadows. Draw their main force past the Vanir cluster. That's where our real strike waits." Ships split, shadows among asteroids, invisible to even the most advanced sensors. The decoy fleet moved boldly, firing at empty space to attract attention. The Council fleet followed eagerly, assuming victory was near. And then, the humans struck. Cloaked ships emerged from hiding, hitting Council supply lines and command vessels in a series of calculated explosions. Chaos erupted across the Council fleets. Systems failed, communication lines were cut, and entire sections of the attack force scattered in confusion. Varys's face turned pale. "How can so few inflict so much damage?" Kale's voice was quiet, almost in awe. "Because they are human. They do not calculate. They fight with heart. They take risks we cannot understand. And they survive." Lyra remained calm on the bridge, giving orders with precision. "Focus on targets that matter most. Command ships, supply lines, and communications. Every strike weakens them. Every ship that survives another day strengthens us." Ren glanced at her, worry in his eyes. "Commander, how long can we hold this? They outnumber us by thousands." Lyra's gaze hardened. "As long as we have humans willing to fight. As long as we have hearts that refuse to surrender. That is enough." Across the Council chambers, panic grew. Ships were being destroyed faster than replacements could arrive. Varys's voice shook as he shouted orders, but nothing seemed to work. Humans were no longer a threat to manage. They were a force that demanded fear. Kale looked at the stars outside the Council's window. "They have changed everything," he said softly. "They are not a minor species anymore. They are a storm. And we cannot predict where they strike next." The human fleet regrouped above the Vanir cluster, silent among the asteroids. Lyra allowed herself a brief moment to breathe. Every pilot, every crew member, had done their part. But she knew this was only the beginning. The Council would return with even greater force. They would not forget this day. "Prepare for the next wave," Lyra said. "They will come. And when they do, we show them what humans are capable of. Not just as fighters, but as survivors." as a species no one can control. In the council chamber, Varys stared at the holographic display of the galaxy. The burning debris of his fleets reflected in his eyes. "They are reckless," he said. "They are mortal. They cannot survive this. And yet, they continue." "How?" Kale's voice was steady. "Because they are human. And that is why we are losing." Above Earth, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging the courage of a small planet defying the galaxy. Humanity had survived another day, not by technology, not by sheer numbers, but by spirit, intelligence, and unyielding will. The war had escalated. The Council had mobilized its full might. And yet, humans still stood. And Commander Lyra knew, deep in her heart, that no force in the galaxy could extinguish the fire of Earth. The galaxy seemed to tremble as the Council's fleets surged through human space. Every sector they passed was lit with the glow of massive warships, and every pilot knew the outcome could decide the fate of Earth. Yet, humanity did not panic. On the Aurora, Commander Lyra's calm presence steadied her crew. "Wren, report," Lyra demanded. Lieutenant Wren's fingers moved quickly over the controls. "Multiple fleets closing in, Commander. They've adapted since our last encounter. Their formations are tighter, weapons more precise. If we engage now, we risk annihilation." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Engage carefully. Draw them in, but we do not give them the chance to crush us outright. Humanity has survived worse odds. Remember that. Our advantage is not size, it's resolve." Across the galaxy, Elder Varys paced the council chamber, his translucent form flickering in the red emergency lights. His fleets had suffered repeated losses. Small human teams had struck supply lines, destroyed command vessels, and vanished without a trace. The council had thought themselves untouchable. Now, they were learning that human courage and ingenuity could not be measured. "They fight with reckless precision," Kale muttered. "Every move they make is calculated, yet it feels wild. Impossible to predict. They are more dangerous than any species we've faced." Varys slammed a hand on the console. "Enough talk. Send the Shadow Legion. I want Earth burned. I want every ship destroyed. No mercy. No hesitation. Humanity must learn obedience." On Earth, Lyra watched the Council's Shadow Legion move into position. These were the elite fleets, heavily armed, with advanced shields and near-impenetrable armor. Most species would surrender at the sight of them. Humans did not. "Prepare the strike team," Lyra ordered. "We hit their lead vessels. Disrupt their formation before they reach Earth. This is our moment. Show them what humans are capable of." The human fleet split, each ship moving through asteroid fields and hidden jump points. The decoy fleet drew the Council's main forces into traps, while smaller human teams struck at vital command vessels. The clash was fierce, violent, and chaotic. Explosions lit the darkness of space as energy beams collided with shields. In the Council chamber, reports came in. Ships were being disabled faster than they could replace them. Panic spread. Varys's voice trembled. "How can so few cause such destruction? They are mortals. They should not survive this." Kale's gaze was steady. "They are human. That is why." Lyra's eyes scanned the battlefield. One Council flagship loomed ahead, larger than any ship she had ever seen. Its weapons glowed red, capable of destroying entire human fleets in minutes. But she saw a weakness, its blind spots, its reliance on size and power rather than strategy. "Wren, target the flagship's rear engines," Lyra commanded. "We disable it, and the rest will scatter. Move fast. Precise. Don't waste lives." The strike team moved with flawless coordination. Fighters weaved between asteroids, dodging energy beams, until they reached the rear of the massive vessel. Missiles struck, shields flared, and the flagship shuddered violently. Council forces faltered, uncertain, while humans pressed the advantage. Varys clenched his teeth. "Impossible. They should have been destroyed. They are mortals. Kale's voice was quiet, almost in awe. No. They are humans. And they are extraordinary. On the Aurora, Lyra felt the weight of every human life under her command. Every strike, every decision, could tip the balance. But she did not waver. Humanity's strength had never come from sheer power. It came from courage, from ingenuity, from a will to survive that no galaxy could crush. The Council fleet began to retreat in disarray. Ships that had once seemed invincible were now scattered, disabled, or destroyed. Varys's face turned pale as the full scope of the human strategy became clear. These were not mere soldiers. These were human minds, daring, clever, and relentless. Above Earth, the stars seemed to shine brighter as the surviving human ships regrouped. Lyra allowed herself a moment of quiet pride. Humanity had survived another day. They had faced the galaxy's mightiest fleets and had not only survived, they had won. But Lyra knew the war was far from over. The Council would return, more determined, more ruthless, more dangerous. And when they did, humanity would have to fight even harder, think even faster, and never surrender. Prepare for the next wave, Lyra said to her crew. We've won today, but the battle is not over. Humanity survives because we fight together. And together, we will show the galaxy that Earth will never bow. In the council chambers, Varys and Kale stared at the reports. The human fleet was smaller, yet it had inflicted devastating losses. Varys whispered, almost to himself, "They are not just a species, they are a force. A storm we cannot control." Kale nodded. "And yet, they are mortal. Every strike, every battle, they fight with their hearts, with their minds, with everything they have. That is why they survive." Far above Earth, Commander Lyra gazed into the stars. "We are human," she whispered. "And we will never surrender." The galaxy had learned a harsh truth. Humans were not weak. Humans were not insignificant. Humans were unstoppable when cornered, clever when underestimated, and fearless when the odds were against them. And as the stars shone over Earth, the Council realized that the war they had declared had awakened something they could no longer ignore. The galaxy waited in tense silence. Every Council fleet that had survived the previous strikes was gathering above Earth, ready to end humanity once and for all. Billions of soldiers, thousands of warships, and weapons capable of destroying entire cities hovered in the void. On the Aurora, Commander Lyra stood at the helm, eyes scanning the vast incoming fleets. Her crew was tense but steady. Every human pilot, every soldier, every ship knew the stakes. Humanity had survived countless battles, but this would be the ultimate test. "Ren," Lyra said, voice calm yet firm, "this is the Council's final strike. They will try to crush us completely. We cannot outnumber them. But we can outthink them. We will fight smart, fight human, and show them what Earth is made of." Ren nodded, fingers flying over the controls. "Yes, Commander. We're ready." Elder Varys watched from the council chamber, eyes glowing with fury and disbelief. "They survive again. How can mortals resist us so? They are insignificant, yet every strike tears our forces apart." Admiral Kale stepped beside him, voice quieter than usual. "Because they fight with something we cannot calculate. Will. Courage. Determination. They are human, and that is why they endure." Varys clenched his fists. "Enough words. Send everything. This ends now. Burn the planet, if we must." Lyra's fleet moved into position with silent precision. Small decoy fleets drew the Council's forces into traps among asteroid belts, while the main human strike team prepared a daring maneuver. Every pilot knew their role. Every soldier understood the risk. The first wave of Council warships advanced, energy beams glowing red in the darkness. Explosions rocked the outer defenses of Earth's orbit. Human ships weaved through the chaos, dodging beams, slipping between asteroids, and striking where the Council least expected. Lyra's voice was steady as she commanded from the bridge. "Target their command vessels first. Disable their coordination. Then focus on supply lines. We cut them off, one ship at a time. The humans struck with surgical precision. Cloaked fighters hit vital engines, missiles tore through supply ships, and communications were disrupted faster than the Council could respond. Chaos spread across the once formidable fleet. Varys slammed a hand on his console. Impossible! They are mortals. Every move they make is precise, clever, daring. Kale, watching the unfolding battle, murmured, "No, Elder. They are not mere mortals. They are humans. And humans fight like no other species." Lyra's fleet regrouped behind the Vanir cluster. The decoys had lured the Council's forces into a trap. Now, the main strike team emerged, surrounding the Council flagship, the largest vessel ever built. Its shields were powerful, its weapons deadly. But humans had learned its weaknesses. Ren, fire everything at the rear engines. We disable them, we cripple their fleet. Move fast. Precision counts. Missiles struck with perfect timing, shields flared, and the massive vessel shuddered violently. Council ships faltered, unsure of what had just happened. Panic spread like wildfire. Varys's face turned pale. They are destroying our fleets faster than we can respond. This should not be possible. Kale looked at him, voice steady. They are human. That is why it is possible. On the bridge of the Aurora, Lyra allowed herself a brief, quiet smile. Not of pride, but of resolve. Humanity had survived again and again, not because of strength, not because of technology, but because of courage, intelligence, and unyielding will. The Council's fleets began to retreat, scattered and disabled. Earth had survived the ultimate assault. And in the silence that followed, the galaxy realized a shocking truth. Humans were no longer a minor species to conquer, they were a force that could not be ignored. Varys and Kale stared at the reports. The human fleet was smaller, yet every ship had inflicted devastating losses. The Council's arrogance had been shattered. They are not just fighters, Kale whispered. They are humans. And they have changed everything. Above Earth, the stars seemed brighter, almost as if acknowledging humanity's triumph. Ships drifted silently among the constellations, shadows of survival and courage. Lyra's voice broke the silence on the bridge. This is just the beginning. The Council will come again. But humanity will never surrender. And we will continue to fight, not because we seek war, but because we refuse to be controlled, ignored, or broken. The human fleet saluted the stars, their hearts strong, their courage unshaken. The galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary, a species underestimated, dismissed, yet unstoppable when cornered, clever when challenged, and fearless when facing impossible odds. And in the council chambers, Elder Varys whispered, almost in awe and fear, "We declared war on Earth, and we forgot one truth. Humans, they never surrender." Far above the small blue planet, Commander Lyra gazed at the stars, knowing humanity had survived, thrived, and proven itself to the galaxy. The war had ended, for now. But Earth had declared something far greater than war. It had declared humanity. And the galaxy would never forget.